2025. Our start time is 8:02. Our first, it's not on here, but we'll just take a quick roll call. I believe all members are present. Yay,
yes.
Good deal. Okay. Next item is to approve the agenda to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation items on the agenda may not be presented or acted upon in the order listed. Additions to agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code Section 54954.2B. Are we good with it? We have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, it's moving on to presentations and informal reports. Minutes. So this would be a time when someone who's not in the agenda, or now we're calling it calendar.
So it would be someone that has
our public.
Beforehand, it would be on the agenda if there was a presentation.
So not one today. Okay.
Today, no.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to move on to public comment. Provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the board on items of interest to the public within the board's jurisdiction and which are not already on the agenda for this morning. It is a policy of the board not to answer questions impromptu. Speakers should limit their comments to not more than 3 minutes. For items which are on the agenda this morning, the members of the public will provide an opportunity to address the board as each item is brought up for discussion. At this time, do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we will move on to our regular calendar. Number one on our regular calendar this morning is to approve the minutes from the 12/3/24 meeting as presented by City Clerk Abigail Palsgard, sponsored by the City's Clerk Office. Recommendation is to approve by staff. Do we have a motion to approve our previous minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Member Kyle makes the first.
Okay, second.
Buckner second. All those approved say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Minutes are approved. Item number 2, advertising, marketing on digital billboards. Sponsors Member Kyle. Recommendation, possible action.
Good morning. Last meeting, we kind of discussed the digital billboard, which is CEIS, Community Electronic Information Signage. And we tabled it because we wanted to have Tony Lockhart, who is one of the owners, come and make a presentation by Zoom and possibly answer questions. So, Tony, would you like to go ahead and share with us?
Just so you folks know, in your packets there are quite a few pages to follow along with, starting with the blue screen, and then here is our map.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, Tony Lockridge from CEIS. I am the owner of the company that did the gateway signage in the city of Selma as well as Reedley, and we also did Chowchilla north of Fresno in the state of California. Those are our current programs that we have running in that state. We do this nationwide, everywhere from California all the way to the East Coast. I have even a sign in New York. So I do this coast to coast, and it's been incredibly successful, especially in the Selma, Reedley, and Chowchilla area with those municipalities. Many of the advertisers that started with me in the program still are on the displays to this day. In all of those municipalities, I provided the sign itself. There's no charge to the city. We provide the ongoing maintenance, the operations, and we provide login information to the display as well. I know the city of Selma and both Selma and Chowchilla are both very active in putting on city events and always putting on different programs that they're running in the city in their own slot. They're very, very active out of all of the different municipalities. So what we do is we provide the airtime to the city. We brand Amber Alerts. graphics, we use high resolution LED pixels, so the image is very clear and legible for the community to be able to make out what's on the actual image itself. So in this instance, we would be a 16 millimeter display. If we're on city property, there's additional rental income that comes into the city from the use of the ground space or wall space that we may use. But we also might need to place these displays on private property if there's not a city property that works. But what we try to do in the program, being that the display changes every 6 to 7 seconds, depending on what we do contractually, is we are able to sell various price points along the demand curve, so we can have small businesses all the way up to larger businesses like healthcare facilities and whatnot have different rates based on how many times a day their ad is in rotation. We also cover the artwork. If an advertiser wants to be on the display, many times we can get the artwork completed and put on the display in the same day, coming to an arrangement. So it's incredibly fast and nimble to get information up. So if there's last-minute Labor Day sales or a silver alert or something like that, we can get information on there in a very, very quick time period. Now, if you'll go to the next slide for me, every design is custom made to the city. So if there's a certain style that you like, I love the Swedish architecture. So of course, on that first page, I put a little draft together using some of the elements that you see in the Scandinavian areas. So we work hand in hand trying to come up with a design that you like and that meets your branding and whatnot. So that's all included in the program. At nighttime, the brightness gets dimmed down, and I think you've probably seen my other displays. You can see that when the sun starts to set, the LEDs come down. So it's very different than gas station signs and whatnot. It's very highly regulated, and it goes from 7,000 nits during the day. It goes down to, I think, 350 nits at nighttime, because it doesn't have to compete with the sunlight. So we follow very, very strict safety rules and regulations by both the state of California, and typically everything comes down to this measurement called foot lamperts, and we meet all of those code requirements when it comes to brightness at nighttime. If you'll go to the next slide, please. So we're responsible for every single expense. We have a very large liability insurance policy of $3 million. We indemnify the city of anything that can occur from the operation of the side. We try to make these as small as possible and to be effective, whatever that magical amount ends up being. So in Reedley and Selma, the ones at Whitson and Floral, and in Reedley, it's at Manning and I Street. Both of those displays are less than 100 square feet. They're roughly 6'4" by 13.5 feet. So they're very, very small displays as compared to other traditional outdoor advertising displays that you might see along the freeway. So we try to be as small as possible, but still be effective with having various artwork, whether it's maybe it's a real estate agent or something, they have a photo off to the left side or whatever. We try to build it just enough that the artwork is effective but not too large to overtake an area. So we work hand in hand in the arrangement to find out exactly what that map would be based on the particular location where the sign ends up. So the city receives a part of the rotation. So if we're doing a 6-second dwell, the city's message would be showing every 48 seconds, and then it dwells, it holds for that 6-second dwell. And then in that spot, different messages can rotate. So let's say the city has an event coming on this one date. that slide would show, and then the next 48 seconds that goes by, whatever other slides are in that rotation would just alternate. So you can have multiple messages going on in your own part of the slide rotation. So that gets very powerful if there's 6 or 7 different messages that the city wants to get out. It can be in that rotation. Then you can also give percentages. So you can say this particular art piece needs to be running 80% of the time, but these other safety messages might be 20%. So it's incredibly detailed in the scheduler of what you really want to do with all of your artwork that's in that space. And that covers, I think, that slide. I have a cellular connection to the display. That's how the data gets to it. And then, of course, even the power is in our name and our expense as well. If you'll go to the next slide, please. So in that airtime that you have access to, of course, any type of civic announcements can be placed in there. Again, the city has direct access, so if there's something very urgent, they're able to get in there and do it. And then if not, if you want us to schedule things for you, that's also part of the service. We use a third party that does all of our scheduling for us nationwide. You would have their email addresses as well and would be able to send them the stuff. If there's not anybody at the city that wants to run the operations of putting the artwork on there, we're also able to do that as a service with no added cost whatsoever. Some cities just like to do it themselves, even though we provide that service free of charge. So if you'll go to the next slide for me, please. And then, of course, as we talked about emergency management, any of that type of information can be put on the display. If there's an upcoming road closure, any type of communication that is urgent or necessary. During COVID, Reedley had us do a lot of messaging during the COVID time. In Selma and Reedley, I worked with the chambers providing free advertising for all of the restaurants that were doing takeout, delivery, and whatnot. We ran everybody that was open for business at that time with the information to the public of where they could access those various services, and tried to donate as much airtime as we could to some of the larger businesses that were really suffering during that time, bowling alleys and whatnot, that we just provided some recovery airtime throughout COVID to assist the small businesses. In fact, we even ran a special out on 99 where advertisers could get up on the display for $89 a month. I called it the $3 a day plan. And it's part of the rotation where it shows up X number of times a day, but it was a price point that people could get on there, and I allowed them to enter 5-year terms with that as well to give them the exposure that they would need at that lower impression rate. So incredibly flexible in what we can do with all of the various size businesses. If you'll go to the next slide. So of course, with this being part of a economic development plan, it provides businesses a little more announcing communication aspect than they traditionally have. So if there's various festivals going on and they want to get various information out, they in Access have their own reader board because they can get access to this at hopefully a rate that all businesses can afford, and they can get the exposure that they're looking for to help their small business. So like Chowchilla, when they did the one out on 99, that was to get more people going into those businesses and exiting off of 99 to visit their restaurants and all. So for economic development, that was their mission of why that was really helpful out on 99 to get the traveling public in, as well as Selma with their display. We did the co-mingled larger display out on 99 with the one on the inside of the city with their program. So very helpful for small businesses. As I said, there's a tremendous amount of businesses that have been with us in Reedley and Chowchilla and Selma from the first day they've gone on this display. They're still clients of us today. So Many businesses enjoy the aspect of it, and we've served all different types of businesses over the last 10 years. And we have nonprofit pricing. We're very flexible and work with nonprofits as well. And when we have excess space, it allows us to even drive those prices down even more for nonprofits. So we try to be very community-minded when it comes to various charitable activities that are going on in the towns that we work in. If you'll go to the next slide, please. These are just various testimonials from the cities that we've worked in. Since this slide deck was first put together, we've opened up more markets. I can provide additional city contacts if necessary from Pennsylvania and everywhere else that we've been doing these programs in. I have some additional contacts I'll pass along to Penny and Abigail so they can talk to some of the advertisers in the area, and some additional contacts in the city of Selma that I've worked with for years, and they can provide any added questions or share their own experiences with our program. So at this time, I certainly will entertain any questions. I'll try to hear. It's a little echoey, so please be patient with me if I struggle with hearing the questions.
Thank you so much, Tony. Who actually pays the electricity on a monthly basis for the sign?
Yes, that is my cost. I take on the power cost. I typically have my own meter installed, so we set up power, and that is our cost. Again, there should be no cost to the city whatsoever. Every once in a while, so I'll do the landscaping on the displays. A lot of times in negotiations with the city, I'll ask that the Public Works just take care of the landscaping from that point forward. If I have to tap into city water, I'll have my own water bill, etc. But a lot of times they're just able to fold in, trimming and things like that with the program. That would be pretty much the only cost, quote unquote, cost that could be part of the deal, but we handle everything else.
And who, if we had to rent property, who pays the rental on a monthly basis?
I would be paying the rental. If we were on private property, I would be paying the rental payment to the landowner. I would negotiate the land position. I would handle all of that aspect, the title work and everything that would be involved with that part of the program. I'm fine going either on city property or private. What my intention is just to work with the city on the very best placement where it really, really would be the most effective, and wherever that is would dictate whether we're on city property or private property.
Okay, and I think you had told me that you go out to get all the ads, so it's not as if somebody here in Kingsburg or for the city or for bid would need to go out and prospect for ads?
That's correct. That's really one part of the wonderful parts of this program. We handle all of that aspect. Every once in a while, the city clerk might get a phone call, hey, I really want to be out on that display. What do I need to do? And, they'll just pass along our contact information. But we try to, inform the public on the display itself, whether it's a small phone number on a nice plaque, or part of we call them self-promos. It's, it's a slide that's inserted saying, rent this space, and we'll have a website or whatever to go to. So generally speaking, they pretty much know how to get in touch with us to be on there. We also do a lot of social media marketing and whatnot. So the public typically knows how to get in touch with us. But yes, the city would not have to work in that space whatsoever in terms of trying to have advertisers run it with. That's part of our program.
Okay, I have a couple more questions. Okay, here's a two-part question. One, can it be Kingsburg businesses or nonprofits only? or do we have to allow for other cities to be on there as well?
So this does come up quite often with cities, because cities, of course, want to try to maintain 100% usage by the cities as kind of a request, right? You're there to really support the local businesses. What I typically say is we try to market primarily when the boards first go up, everything local only. If there's a density issue of businesses or a demand usage where we just can't keep it completely full using only local businesses, we've always asked the cities to say, you know, if somebody wants to be on this display, typically it's because they're serving the needs of the community itself. So outside of the business owners, there's citizens that also live there. So if it's some type of business outside the city limits but provides a service for people who live in town, there is still that nice benefit to the consumers of providing information that they might know. For instance, you know, healthcare facilities might be so large they're not located in Kingsburg, but the particular people who live in Kingsburg likely would be wanting to know what services they should be going to if there's cases of emergencies or whatnot. So there's kind of a nice aspect that you're providing information to both aspects, the local businesses, but also where people should be seeking services that just aren't in the city limits. So it's really tough to mandate that usage. We just tend to have a large percentage of local businesses always on it with the occasional outside businesses. It's just very, very tough for us to limit the usage to only businesses located within the city limits. And it really hasn't been a problem for all of the cities that I'm currently in, even though that's come up in questions in this circumstance in a lot of the situations. We just have never had to bind it to the local businesses, and we just haven't had to entertain that, and it has not been a problem with the cities thus far.
Okay, and my last question is, the advertising, is it month to month, or do you, businesses or individuals need to be under a contract for, say, 6 months or 3 months or a year?
Sure.
And does the city itself get free
That's a wonderful
advertising?
question. The city itself gets free advertising for city purposes. That's the guaranteed every 48-second spot in the rotation. That's without any fee, without any cost, and that's in perpetuity through the agreement. So they would always have free access to their rented, you know, or not rented, but to their space as part of the deal.
And what about the first question?
And then as for the question on term, yes, on the question on term, we try to be as friendly to small business as possible. I'm second generation in this business, so I grew up. I can still remember all of the different small businesses that my father would hand paint the signs for. And so our entire bread and butter, his entire career and my career has been small business. So we try not to have a program that forces people into long-term agreements. So generally speaking, we're very open to month-to-month arrangements for small businesses, so it allows them the opportunity to try it out. And if they, while it's working, they stay on. We've got roughly 37% or so of, I think we have 400 clients that we currently have across the country that are on month-to-month, and some of them have been month-to-month for 5 years or 6 years. So the question really is summarized by we try to be as flexible as possible. If we do rate increases and whatnot over time, then we always tell the advertisers if we're willing to lock up long periods of time at a set rate, that's your choice, or you can just go month to month, and if rates change, you know, that can be, you know, part of the arrangement. But typically speaking, most we average small businesses will try to do like 3-month minimums, especially if they go in what I call more of the economy packages, where it doesn't show up so often. It's really great for them to go longer term. So over over time, 100% of the population has had a chance to see the branding that they were trying to get across. But yes, we're very open. If somebody wanted to rent it for a day, we do birthday arrangements and graduation and retirement messages and whatnot. So we even do daily rental to assist those specific needs where it's not even a month they're trying to do.
Thank you, Tony. That's all the questions I had. Anybody else?
Yes, so I have a question. This is costing us the bid, what is this costing? I don't understand. Nothing?
It doesn't, the downtown district does not approve digital advertising, so this is outside our scope.
And it's outside of the district. The actual sign would be outside the district. So it's not exactly something that we can.
So we wouldn't be able to approve funds for
We
it?
are, no. Mm-mm. Our people within the district are welcome to advertise on there, but it will not come through their bid money.
I understand, so it would
It
have to
won't,
be more of a
it's
city.
it's completely on them to seek them out and do that, is my understanding. Because there's a digital sign ordinance, so it can't be within the district. So therefore, he's just simply explaining to us the business that he's proposing to the city and or possible chamber or economic development, and that we would possibly explain to folks in our district that this is an option for them to advertise, but it would be not in our scope of influence. We can say, hey, this is an availability to you, but it would not come out of their bid funds at all. I guess I don't know, we'd have to talk to the city as far as the free advertisement through the city, if that's something that, if we wanted to tag on, but anything that we would do, probably the city would already be there doing, or the chamber, like the, Santa Lucia or anything like that. That's a public event that would be downtown that they would probably take advantage of as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And then, Tony, what do you do when there's a deficit? Or do you have a timeline when you would get a profit? I mean, because it's going to take a while to get all that advertising. But what do you do if there's a deficit? Sorry. Yeah.
The excess airtime, while we're trying to get the display filled with advertising, is that the question? What we do with the extra space?
Yes. Or I'm assuming you're gonna need a profit from your advertising to cover your costs. Because you stated that you'll cover the costs of the, there's gotta be a gap in there somewhere. We
cover all, so all of the cost is ours. So in times of occupancy periods that are, lower than average or whatever, that's on us. So that's income that's going to go up and down for us over the period of time based on the usage. So yes, we have to internally handle that aspect of it. I'm never 100% full for long periods of time on any of these displays. Originally, years ago, I might have had a year or a year and a half or something where, all of the spots were gone. But generally speaking, I might have 75% occupied, 25% open. So that open space is kind of a mix of if there is a nonprofit that's reaching out to us around that time period, as I said before, there's some great discounts we're able to do. The current advertisers that are on get to share in some of the extra airspace as well. So any type of empty space just speeds up the rotation. So if a client was expecting to get 600 daily showings of their ad and we were 80% full, they might get 25% more exposure. Their ad might show 25% more. So we try to provide some of the extra airspace to everyone who's on the sign. We'll also have a self-promo in the rotation, just announcing that there is some additional space on the sign that they can tap into. So it ends up either being utilized by the excess space by everyone who's currently on there mixed with the self-promo, but it doesn't really show empty space. It's not like the screen will be black in the rotation during the times that
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Tony. I have a question too. My name's Teresa. You said something earlier about
Hi,
the.
Teresa.
Hi, nice to meet you. You said something earlier about the contract with the city for the sign. What happens, like how long are those
Yeah.
contracts normally drawn up for? And what happens with the sign when the contract's over, or if the city doesn't, want to participate anymore? There's no advertisers. What do you do with it?
Sure. So the term typically is a 20-year term. We try to have some options worked out with the city. I'm always expecting the relationship to go very well, where when that 20 years goes by and I meet with the council again to either extend it, depending on the shape of the sign, of course, I'm constantly trying to paint them, keep them up to a perfect standard of what they look like when they first went in. I keep them power washed and whatnot in terms of aesthetics. If at that 20-year mark, if the sign needs to be rebuilt, but the city loves the program, then we would say, okay, well, to get another 20 years, let's rebuild the sign and keep this going. If the city says, hey, that was really nice, but I think we're going through a branding change and we're not going to do Swedish anymore, or whatever the case is, and they say, we'd just like you to remove the sign at the end of the term, then we would just remove the sign. The term matters because we have a long period of time to kind of pay off the program. There's a large upfront cost for us. The displays are incredibly expensive. And of course, with every sign being a custom display, we typically have a pretty large CapEx. And then we have to judge the length of the display of how long it's going to look good. LEDs have a declining lifespan over the 100,000 operating hours of the LEDs. They break down over time. So typically, right around the 11-year mark, we're probably going to be changing the display and updating it to a newer technology. So then that'll give the second useful life of that display through the second 10-year term. And, time flies. Selma, we started 10 years ago. So it's already been 10 years since those displays have been up and operational. So, standards with all cities that we've done thus far have all been 20 years.
Thank you. My other question too, I think when Penny brought this to us last month, she had some figures on what the actual advertising cost would be for businesses. Can you give us some numbers for that?
Sure. So it's best to think of this as like a slideshow that's revolving with a dwell time of, let's say we want to do the 6-second dwell, which I think is what I have at Winston and Floral and on 99. You have 8 full segments. So it means that if you had no shared airtime less than what I call full spots, which is like the city spot is going to be a full spot. Every 48 seconds, that slide is going to go up. If we didn't do any type of divisions down from a full spot, and I'll explain that in a second, we would only have 8 full spots. So it would be 8 different people every 6 seconds. So it would be 48 seconds for your next image of the 8 full images to show. Well, it's really best for small businesses if we've been able to divide that rotation. So, for instance, what I call a platinum spot, which is like the city having access every 48 seconds, that would be a platinum. That would be every 48 seconds. And then call that price, let's say, to keep the math simple, $700. That would be every 28 days. We bill 28 days in the media business. So 28-day billing cycle, which is close to monthly. If instead the advertiser says, well, I can't do 700, but I can do 350, then instead of every 48 seconds, you would just double that to every 96 seconds. So every minute and a half, that image would show for half the price. Well, we can keep doing that. So you go from the platinum, which is every 48 seconds, to the gold, which is every other 48 seconds, which is roughly every minute and a half. that's half the price. And then if you divide that again, that would be the silver package. So instead of every 96 seconds, it's every 144 seconds. So roughly every 2 minutes that ad shows, and that would be $175. Well, then you can divide that one more time, and it's every 192 seconds, and that gets you in the $99 price range. And over time, everyone still sees the value one. So I have a lot of people at the 99 marks. I have a lot of people that are around $170. Some people are $225. They just find the budget that meets what they're looking to do, and then I allow them to set their price point of how many times they want their image shown. So that's how we get very flexible across all of the different business sizes that are out there. So something like a hospital, they're going to be on the Platinum program. It's going to be a lot easier for them to do $700 a month. And then you might have a hairstylist who works for the salon who's trying to get their books sold. They might be the perfect client for the $99. They're like, oh, I charge $99, so all I need is one person to comment from this ad, and I paid for that ad. So we just try to be as flexible in term and price, so the access is available to most every business out there. Of course, many businesses are, right to the dollar every single month, and $99 doesn't work for them. But, the companies that do have the budget that they know they need to advertise, we just provide as low as we can possibly go to service the aspect of having them on display and covering the artwork and all of the admin that goes into that program. That's why we're able to offer $99 programs for people, which is roughly $3 a day.
Thank you so much, Tony.
My question is more for the board.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that this is outside the scope of our capabilities in the bid, what kind of possible action are we looking for today?
I don't think we can have an action. I would encourage Penny to probably take this to the city or the chamber and go from there now that we have Zoomed with Tony and answered some more in-depth questions. I feel like we have a better idea of how this works, and so that's would be my suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can open this to public comment too if anyone has at this time public comment.
I love digital signs, so.
And you said last month that the Economic Development Committee has already been pursuing a digital advertising opportunity, or the options for it.
Yes, and primarily due to my, I know, I'm sorry. Usually closer.
This is what happens when you come in late. Yeah, so we have the Kingsburg Business Park sign, and so we were looking at doing that digitally, which isn't something that they wanted to take to the city council to consider right now because it's so expensive. So we're doing that as static. But before that, we were looking at other places to do that, and we absolutely want to. We're on 99. It's not like Reedley that's tucked away. This is really an opportunity for us. So it's really been something that the Economic Development Committee has been pursuing and would love to consider this as well. This seems like a really good opportunity for us. It would just be a matter of finding the space. But yeah, I think that Tony's answers were acceptable to us. I would gather on all the many conversations that the Economic Development Committee has had. I don't see any red flags. It's just a matter of getting everybody to agree to it.
So then as a board, we can basically send along our...
Go ahead, Tony.
I'm so sorry. Yes, we tried to really invent this program to be a complete win-win with municipalities. One of the things that we didn't discuss is I regulate the content contractually, voluntarily in the agreement with the city. So, anything political can't go on the display. If somebody's running for office, that cannot go on. We don't allow any of that. Anything sensitive that's not community-minded, we do not put on the display. So typically, when I get in front of the council, the too good to be true aspect comes up, because we've really tried to make it, we've seen cities try to do LED displays. They're so expensive that they'll end up going so small, or they go monochrome color or whatever with their display, and it's just not effective. So it's nice to hear that you guys have wanted this technology and also understood the cost and whatnot. And that's what we're really trying to provide is what does the city really need, what do they want, what are they struggling to obtain, and how can we partner up and provide exactly what the city's looking for, but also what the local businesses are looking for. So I really hope it's viewed as the win-win. When it goes to the city, the other thing is how it works with the signage code and all, and I always want to make sure that the city knows that they have access to my law firm that I've used for 24 years. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. They specialize in signage law, and the city attorney can speak with them about the various approaches to get them into the city based on whatever code modification or adaptations or whatever needs to happen. So that's another part of our service that we certainly provide and offer up for assistance.
And the fact that we're on 99, I think the sign needs to be on 99. I know that, that would be a given, and why would you have it off 99 when the whole point is that you're getting traffic off, which means that you then have to consider Caltrans. But Tony's probably aware of that as well, given that he's already done a sign on the 99 for Selma. So, but that would be another hoop that we would have to jump through.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jolene.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Anything on a state road, I would have Caltrans.
okay, so I believe my understanding is that the only possible action that we could take today is that we encourage member Kyle to take this to City Council or the Economic Development Committee and present this to them, and then we're educated so that we can educate the folks in our district if they so chose to do advertising. So I'm going to make a motion that we instruct member Kyle to take this to council or other powers to be to take a look at this. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Tony, for taking time out of your day. We appreciate it. The education is awesome, and we know more about it, and we can help other folks in our district and citywide learn more about it and help you get this going.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing where this goes with the city of Kingsburg. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 3, corner Christmas tree costs. Sponsor member Cooper, possible action.
Hi, everyone. I'm now in charge of the Christmas trees, so it went great this year, and I thank everyone for helping on that. So in 2023, we previously approved 36 trees, a budget for 36 trees. Based off the invoice, we have 22 new trees. We would need to complete 10 corners, we need to order 4 9-foot trees and 6 4-foot trees. Looking at the invoice, I have a cost of, that would cost $2,082.08, assuming that they're the same price and prices didn't go up. That would complete 10 corners. So we had originally talked last year about 12 corners. However, Larson's does put up 3 trees in their corner already that they have. And then the church corner, they have overgrown bushes and sagos that I don't see being able to put trees in there unless they would take care of that and cut those back.
They had some other kind of display this year too.
They
Do
would
they?
like trees.
They want trees.
They want trees, and I told them if they will help us get them in.
Like a
Because as of
tree
now-
accessibility.
Yeah.
There's no way to put trees in there.
Yeah, we can get 2.
Okay.
I could get 2 in there. I told them we couldn't probably get 3, and they may have to take out a bush or 2. So they came to me and asked me about that. So I told them we would talk about it. We could maybe get 2 in there, but that'd be about it.
That's great. So,
yeah.
just going forward with last year, we just had a mix of new and old trees, and we would like them all to be new. So to complete that, I would like to approve a budget up to $3,500 to complete the new trees.
Okay.
Does anyone have any comments on the trees?
How much did you say?
I was going to say a budget of up to $3,500.
You're going to need about 48.
48.
You have pricing for new trees? Okay,
Okay.
could we see the pricing?
Yeah.
That way we could decide like different ones or whatever.
These are wholesale prices, trees that'll last.
Yeah, so it doubled from when they were ordered?
2 years ago. And right now, I'll be very honest, I'm sure you understand that I received 8 emails talking about tariffs at this point. These trees are produced in China, they are coming from China, and so everyone has put extra tariff on there for everything. Might change in the next couple months, I don't know, but right now, that's where this price, they're sitting at, for the quality of trees that we have now.
Yeah, the same
The
one.
9-foot trees, wholesaler at about $500.
Oh, they went up quite a bit.
Okay.
Okay, do you think so if we move forward to approve that budget, can we order these trees now so that we don't get?
We can. They may not come until September.
No, that's fine.
Okay, we can order
If
them.
we can lock our price in.
But there's also a possibility that the tariffs could come off in March. So, I mean, I did some research and started talking with folks in that. They don't want to commit to that. They want to totally cover themselves. The other the other issue that I have is that we have different warmth of lights.
That's because it was old and new trees. Yeah.
Some of that is the lights that were put on there.
Oh,
though.
yeah, because all of the new lights that were purchased, the Walmart ones, are cool. They're cool, and there's
So I don't know if
white
that
ones.
bothers anyone else, but I would like to see all the lights be, if we're gonna go clear, I would like them to be all the same warmth. That's just me.
Because we still have, I don't know, probably 25 unused boxes
Yeah,
for all
'cause I
the
use a
new
lot of
trees. Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
that were purchased with the budget.
So those lights are those cool or warm?
They're
or
all
do we?
cool.
They're all cool.
They're all cool? Okay. So we need to use those lights. We'll just, whatever. So, yeah, I can pull invoices for you guys. I just did a little prelim discussion last week with the folks in LA. Yeah, we just paid $900 for a 9-foot tree wholesale. So the fact that I found some for $5
Okay, that's
was,
great.
Good
yeah,
price.
but I'll show you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll pull the invoices for you.
I also would prefer white lights as well. We did string on, 2 years ago, we string on the cool LEDs. It doesn't seem to go. I mean, that can be like a separate budget later on in the year. If we don't allocate any money towards anything else, we could revisit adding more to the trees.
I'm sure we're past return because they're all brand new, but if there was any way to recoup the purchase of these unused lights and buy new ones that are white,
Yeah, I can post them. We can post them and see if we can sell them.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
Can we sell them, Abigail?
Would we have to donate them?
Can we sell something that we bought?
We have tons of unused lights that aren't our desired color. What could we do with those? They're from Walmart, but we can't return them at this point.
Can Public Works use them?
With surplus equipment, like council would have to usually pass a resolution saying it's surplus, and then we would do a closed bid situation. So we could
So we're Viking shipping these, basically. Okay.
and that was in the past, but yes, like the Viking ship.
Okay.
But the Viking ship couldn't have a minimum bid. We've sold equipment in the past, so you guys could say, I don't know how much you think it's worth, but, bids no lower than $200, and then people could submit bids, and hopefully they do, but that's,
Okay.
yeah, we can't just sell stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, so next meeting Why don't you just make a motion saying that we want to increase our, let's just say up to 5,000.
Yeah. I will make a motion to approve $5,000 for the budget of the new Christmas trees.
And lights, if we have to.
And lights.
Yeah,
Like
if we-
completion
if we-
of the
Let's
corners.
say the completion.
The completion of the
Because
Christmas
you need
trees.
ribbon and everything too,
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
make a
that.
motion to approve a budget of up to 5,000 for the Christmas trees.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Just a reminder to turn in receipts for previously purchased stuff, if you could, so that board members could be reimbursed.
Okay. That would be me. Alrighty. All right. Item number 4, goal setting, sponsor Member Williams. Recommendations, possible action.
So, last month I just had a few questions, being the newbie, about how we really measure the work that we do so that people feel the value from the money that is part of the bid. So, one thing, as a business person that I like to do is set goals and divide them up, in sort of buckets. And so when I was thinking about what we could do with bid, we need to have something that we can present to people. I think that, one part of, what we want to show is that we're helping grow business, right? And bringing more business downtown. So I was looking at Quinn's statistics, for instance, growth of followers and so on and so forth. So I think that there are many things that we could look at to show what is actually being done with the money that benefits the business that is giving the money towards the bid. I know that sales tax, Abigail let me know that's confidential. I don't know if there's some way that you can, I guess you can just use the money that's coming in as growth, or if there's an aggregate number that could be used or something like that. But really going and saying, how do we know business is growing? Also, and so you'd have to sort of do a session with a group of people to say what's important to us. How would we feel that our money is being used wisely and it's worth the contribution that we're making? So, looking at, that kind of objective number, looking at, what is the social media and, how all of the things that Quinn brings up. What is the website traffic? How do we do that? Because there's lots of statistics that you get from your website providers. Do we, you would also want to track like new member growth, maybe even like participation at meetings, because you don't grow something if you don't have participation, right? And then like Leslie brought up sort of non-retail. How do we work with non-retail and what would the value add be there? So, for me, I would divide it up into 3 or 4 buckets. I would try to get some people in and do like a little brainstorming session and then come up with some goals to present to the bid. So I don't know if that's something that anyone would be willing to support at this point, but I believe that.
I think we do certain things like that. Like we now are doing Fika Friday, which we are encouraging our downtown to come to Fika Friday and going, hearing them and what they want. Also with our meetings, we open that up too for people to come in. We don't get a lot of good feedback as of right now. So if you can think of other ways that we can do that, but we have set up certain things for that.
I also like the buckets. I think that's a good idea. I'm with you on attract number grows. So if you don't have analytics, there's nothing to go with. I like the idea of trying to have some type of attainable, this is what you're getting from your membership. It's such a hard thing to, it's not such a tangible result, but I like the idea of trying. I think we should have something we can present to these businesses. One thing I would love us to track would be the renewal rate, because I feel like we have businesses that will pay their membership and then they drop off for a year. They don't pay their business license. And then they come back or they don't come back. So I think it would be cool to figure out how to keep that up, basically. And for all the new members, we also have businesses that leave the bid area. So it'd be good to track all of that and what we can do to help the transition. I think that'd be good. I don't know because it's not something we can do, but.
Businesses motivate to pay their business license.
Well, in all seriousness, like there is no,
There's no downside to not paying your business
Yeah.
license currently. You
right.
can operate within the city without
We
paying
just
your business
don't-
license.
We don't,
There's no red tag on
we
the
don't
door,
put
there's
them
no,
on
yeah,
social media.
correct.
If they're not paying,
That's
we
it.
don't put them
But
on.
like, I
But
think
we are the only,
consumers don't know, like our our
No.
downtown customer wouldn't have any way of knowing, like, if you have a restaurant, you have to have a food, license, or your stylist, you have a license, it's on the wall. We're all supposed to have our business licenses on the wall, but I don't think customers are looking for that when they come in and out.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right, and that's not true, yeah, at all, yeah. There's a late fee. Maybe we make a recommendation to city for revamp of that. I don't know what, I know in other places you're getting a sign on the window that says you can't operate because you don't have an active license, so I don't know how that works anywhere else, but in the past, when we talked about it, it was because, okay, I'll look into that. It was more so the city said they don't want to discourage business owners.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. There's perception, it's like we don't want to send police into, who's going to close down the building?
Mhm,
Who
right.
are we going to send into a business to close them down because they haven't paid a tax?
Right.
We're a pretty business-friendly council.
that's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, we will
As
not make
frustrating
friends
as-
as the bid.
Right.
That's
As
not like
frustrating
me,
as
by
that
the way.
is,
We
that
just
when
recommend
you're a
you put
business,
sign on the door.
as frustrating as it is that when you're in business and you're paying your business license and you're doing all the right things, and a person that is 4 doors down from you or in your district or in your city that is not, they're still operating, it's frustrating to you. As this board, is not our job to be the police, as frustrating as that is. What we can do is say, you are not in compliance with the city. Therefore, the only power we have is that we cannot endorse your business at this time. We cannot encourage your business at this time. But we would love to work with you on a solution on getting it straight.
Right.
It's really frustrating, I understand. But I will tell you this, that since the bid came into existence, our business license renewal rate has greatly increased, correct? Within the district.
Could we get that as a number, Could that
Yeah.
be a statistic that
Well,
we
so
all-
like when you get your list, when we have our list of active members, the non-active list used to be quite long.
We don't
Now
get a
it's-
non-active list anymore.
Now it's like, no, I think that the last page, isn't there a non-active?
No, it doesn't. We had to go through and figure out.
So we have a new business license program. This is the second year. So I can't really pull data from before then because it wasn't made for like this type of analytics and stuff. But I could send you guys reports for businesses within the bid that were active for like 2023, 2024, and now we're going into 2025. Most people don't pay for the next,
Right.
until April 1st. So there's no penalties until April 1st. So.
Yeah, because there's
Yes.
like restaurants that hop on and off. Yeah, because that would probably help Quinn instead of me saying, "Hey, that one you just shared hasn't paid in a year." But they
Okay.
did, but not.
Yes, Ms. North.
I think that's why I've been sending just active because Quinn doesn't
But then,
really need to.
yeah, but then he has to go through and scrub it against the 114 accounts that we follow and see which ones aren't on there anymore.
It's hard. It's a fluid process.
Fluid is the right word.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm part, as city council, I'm part of something called Center Point District, and we meet quarterly. And what it is it's all the small communities come together, and we are able to do things like draw business to the small cities away from Fresno, Clovis, because it used to be called 5 cities. It's more like 7 or 9 now. So now we're called Center Point. They're the ones that did like the food trail and different things like that. But their job is to help businesses thrive, and they have a lot of resources. I talked to them when the chamber was going through some hard things recently, and they even have like lawyers and all of these things that can come out and help cities at no cost, because that's their job. So one of the things that they presented to the chamber was this analytics program that is very expensive, but they have it, and it's a free resource to cities. I can't remember the name of it. I just text the person in charge of it, and they can do things that you're talking about and give you all those analytics and save you the work of doing it, or the city. Or they'll even, like, after you have an event, like say your line dancing event, like they can look and see what the traffic was, what was spent in Kingsburg, where you could show your members, like, look, this paid off. So would you like me to see if maybe she can come speak at the next meeting and just give you a little idea about the analytics that they could provide for the city, and then maybe a couple of you can talk to her and let her know what you need?
That would be amazing.
Her name is Lauren Nickel. She's actually the wife of the teacher at the junior high, who's also Lauren Nickel. So male Lauren Nickel, female. So she lives in Reedley, but they're very invested in Kingsburg. So I'll see if she can come next month and talk to you guys.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
I absolutely want to keep moving forward. I can show people, I can tell people what we have done, but you have to continually tell. It's not there's 40 new trash cans downtown. They're like, that's great. What else are you going to do for me? Mm-hmm. It's a continual thing. There's always going to be a new hoop. I would love for this board to be a positive leading force and not turn into the police. So I would love to find opportunities to help our businesses. That's why we're here. We're a business improvement district, not a business discouragement district. Okay? So if everybody, and I think I said this in our last meeting, your homework is to go home and talk to people in your block, see what they want. Come home, come back, and let's workshop a list of what we want to accomplish this year. We know, number one, we want to improve our corners. Everybody loves Christmas here. Number one, our first goal of the year is to improve our corners. Number two is to get some real analytics off of our webpage and really see, I want this to either thrive or go away, because we are putting money into it, and I do not see it thriving. And you know what? It's okay for something not to thrive, and it's okay to end a relationship with something, and to take that money and to invest it into some other opportunity for our folks in the district. I really want to look at that. We've already proved that our social media campaign is beneficial to the folks that are using it. Our greatest challenge is to encourage those who are not to use it. Quinn shows us analytics, and I kind of believe in that right now. And in 10 years, social media may be gone. It will be replaced. Who knows? And my number one hill I'm going to die on is to drag in those professional folks. So if everybody could take, but you're a professional folk, you're great. We're chinking away at that a little bit. So if we could all just kind of look at what we think we could bring to this board, and then workshop it, and then if you want, make us a bucket list. Okay. It would be amazing. Is everybody on board with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good?
Well, basically, what if we do
found advertising on a highway? Everybody has great ideas, or you wouldn't be sitting here.
similar to the social media presentation, but what about a year in review? Some type of a wrapped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And really having a collateral, because that you can take to people or show, or I think, but you can't do that until you have something to say.
Right.
So.
And I can do that too. I mean, like, we partnered with Chamber on a few events. We, our new trash cans, we've upped our social media game. We helped with the fruit trail opening. We, we had a lot of people in town that day. And after breakfast, they all kind of filtered in through businesses. That brought us a lot of, there are things, but I don't guess we
It would be
toot our
nice to
horn.
put them all in one
Yeah.
little report so that people can
Yeah.
see it that year in review.
This is what we did. What can we do for you?
Yeah.
You
I
know.
think that's great to post a year in review.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we have done a lot this year,
Yeah.
this past year.
It should be something to be proud of. And I also just want to say, I don't advocate on being the development police by any means.
I know you don't.
I just was pointing out that when we're measuring these things,
Yeah.
at some point, what's the point if there's no
Absolutely.
incentive? And so if we as a board can increase the incentive of being a member, that would be my goal, not the
Yeah,
opposite.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I know exactly where you come from. Okay, so everybody's going to do a little bit of homework, talk to some folks in their neighborhoods, and then share information. Ms. Williams is gonna divvy up some big business knowledge for us and give us some bucket lists. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited about all of that. I like to see us working outside of this meeting once a month. So, and I think that may be the greatest value to the folks in the district, that they see us actually out working away from this desk. Good input. Everybody good?
I would like to see us, before the website goes away, because we did put a lot of work into
We have.
that. I would not like to see it go away yet. I know we're spending a lot of money on it still. I would like to see us push the website more, because I think it's not getting any traffic because people don't know about it.
Yeah,
So
I don't
yeah.
even think it's linked on our social media. It's not linked anywhere.
we need
at
to
this time.
link it. I think there's other ways that we can put it out there that we have it, and I think it is a good directory for people to go to find certain businesses.
Yeah, and
In
it's
our
such a
district.
fluid.
Did we
word.
ever get the analytics from them?
We, she emailed us all the logins, so at any point we can look it up. It's not, we have not invested in them to pull reports for us, but she sent it to
At
us.
one point, they
so I
told us
can
it would
see
take 2 weeks to pull it, though.
No, it was to reset it because there was like a login issue, but
When
that's
we
all.
asked for
That's all
analytics, she
good.
said it would be 2 weeks.
We have just a Google Analytics ready to go, so the
Mm-hmm.
password is accessible to any of the board members. We can resend that out.
Yeah, and that'd be
Yeah.
great, because I mean, it's really
Yeah, I'll
easy to
forward
look
that over
at.
to you.
Yeah.
You just look-
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Google
It's
is right
super
there.
easy.
But
That's
I-
why when
Super easy to
that
look at.
was said, I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I can dial into anything
Yeah.
and look at the basics.
Can we look at that next meeting?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could print something or send it in for the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the website's
Can
such
you
a
provide the
fluid.
password so we can?
Yeah, I'll
Because
forward
if I'm
that to
gonna
you. I'm gonna make it
sort of
really
put
nice.
together, like a few categories that then we can add sub goals into, then it would be great to see where we are with that.
I think that's a good idea too. Speaking of the website, not to hop in on, I was going to put it under reports. It's a work in progress. If there's been so many things that have changed in the last 2 months that I've been working on it. She's still working on the membership listing, so each individual item for those that have completed the forms. Some people send in updates, so we're looking for those. Photos is part of our struggle. We don't have a lot of photos. In the past, we had hired a photographer for this, so I don't know what we want to do. I had them embed the legacy video, so that's on the homepage, and that looks really nice. We want to change the very first hero image. I've asked for help in that. If you guys have any ideas what you want to see the very first image be, please send me some ideas, because I could really use some help. Right now, it's the two ladies dining at Fugazi's, and we have been really wanting to change that. I just
They
need
have
the
so
image.
many pictures.
Can you tell me which one, please?
Anyone
Please.
that it was
Please tell me which
something
one to
of
use,
Kingsburg.
guys.
Anything from
Okay,
Kingsburg
pull-
would have been better
I can
than
send
that.
you the link, pull it to me.
Yeah.
I just need some direction, please, on which photo to use. I'd really like that help. And we're trying to work, we're revamping the directory to put the sub-businesses inside the main business. So that's requiring a little back-end work to revamp that. But it is, there's been quite a bit of changes in the last 2 months, so that's been good. Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. Can we move on? Everybody good? You good?
I'm good, thank you
Okay,
very
thank you.
much.
Okay. Item number 5, name tags for new members. Ms. Carrasco.
Last month, we made a note that our new members need some name tags. So I'd like to make a motion to order name tags for our new members.
Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Michelle, would you like to order them? Do you think you still have contact with him? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. If not, I can help.
Sure.
You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, alrighty.
Yes, I'll make sure I get the correct spelling, names.
No, I can just send it to us.
Okay, if you just do that.
Okay, item number 6, new business welcoming committee. Ms. Buckner.
Yes. Well, with all of the discussion that we've just had, I think maybe not specifically a welcoming committee for new businesses, because that might be hard to find out exactly who's new. I think all of our businesses should be welcomed. I just want to figure out a way to actually go face to face. But I think with all of what we're discussing, it kind of falls in line with everything else we've discussed. And any event that we have, I think, would be an opportunity for us to go to as many businesses as we can and personally invite them. Like when we have our next Fika Friday, when I printed that flyer and went to the businesses, it was overwhelmingly successful. Like, I mean, not that we maybe didn't get as many people to show up, but the conversation was very positive. And so maybe doing that a few more times, because like Leslie has said, you've got to say it over and over again. You've got to just keep doing it. And I think if we start getting on a regular program, which I know we're really working on, then and set a date, like every third Friday or every second Friday. That way they don't have to remember a specific date, but all they need to do is find out where the next location is, but it's always going to be on a certain date.
And is there like an email list or something so that you can even do reminder emails?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yep.
She goes off of the business license emails.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you added me this last time, but yeah, I mean, I know it's just staying in people's face. It's
Yeah.
just that subliminal,
Yeah.
like, oh, that.
Well, and even for myself, it took me a long time I know I see the city emails all the time,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm just like, I don't have time to read that right now.
Right.
And it always has information in there. But I'm obviously much better at it now that I'm on the bid board, but it's just, I think, getting in people's, I don't want to say this sounds harsh, but getting in people's faces and just saying, over and over again, check your email or, and I think when we get a accurate list, like I can go off of last year's list of businesses, but like Abigail said,
It's very different every month.
Yeah, and we're getting all the new business license, but oftentimes people don't pay it till the last minute. I'm guilty of that myself. So I think we should do our best with what we already have. And like you said, you've got to have something to present to them. So what is our next thing? When's our next Fika Friday? When's the next thing that we can go and tell people? Like,
Well, and maybe you make assignments, so that way, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more formalized, so it's like, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna, I mean, I like the idea of going into your neighborhood, but saying like, okay, here's your targets, here's your targets, here's your targets. That way, you can even say like, look, we assigned 20 visits and we did 18.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then
mini
it's not like,
districts almost.
pardon me?
Like a mini district for each of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Unofficially.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise it's like, I don't know where Penny's going or whatever, and it's like, then we could fit somebody twice rather than being real official.
well, and I believe now that this is on the agenda and we all agree, it's not going to be like an official committee, but I can visit you guys outside of this meeting and say, like, Penny, you're in the Village Mall, so you take care of that one, or we can just go and just verbally between us. And then, of course, you and I can take our side
That's
of
right.
the.
We're neighbors.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You guys are neighbors. We're neighbors.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
I
funny.
just feel like this. We've got to get. This is a great idea, and I'm willing to spearhead it with us. But we've got to get out of this building.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to. I guess the easiest thing for me right now is when is our next Fika Friday, and then we can start with that. And then I will be more than happy to make a flyer and do a half sheet or whatever, and then I can individually come to you guys, and you guys can volunteer to take a certain block, and then because it was really, I mean, it was fun, but it was surprisingly difficult for me to get to all the businesses, even just on Draper Street. So, but initially it was very successful. So you guys let me know what do you think our next?
We just need a host for the next one, right?
We need a host for the next.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on the agenda at all? For
Anybody can
Feed the
host,
Friday?
yeah.
I'm happy to host.
Okay.
Perfect.
I have non-alcoholic stuff and coffee, and I mean, you know.
Or do you want to do an afternoon, or we've done mornings, but do you want to?
Yeah, we could do an afternoon. I mean, you know, if it's Friday, we open at 11. We can do it before. We can do it.
I think we should try an afternoon.
You want to try? Yeah, and we can have different things available.
We don't have. I mean, if we don't have to have this in an agenda, can we just go forward with this because we have Fika Friday and then?
Yeah, we just decided and emailed it out. We just invited people. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be an official event, right? Yeah. Yeah,
For
because
coffee.
we're not approving an event. It's just someone's hosting it in the bid.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have
Have to
like a little.
discuss the 7 of you of business that would come in front of you, make decisions, right?
Right.
They're just
No
not-
decision
no
making.
businesses.
Yes. Well,
Just
let's just
mingling.
figure out a
I'm saying,
date,
I say,
and then we can just individually tell people the board, hey, this is what day we decided, and then go from there. Okay, that's a good start. I like.
Are Fika Fridays supposed to be monthly?
It would be
I
great
think
if
we
they
would
were.
like them to, but we need a host. We need a business to host
Yeah.
each month.
Julianne's
And Julianne is offered to do the next one.
And
Okay,
I mean,
for
I would,
January.
and I don't mind being like a backup. I mean, obviously, because we're kind of like a food, a beverage place, I should say.
So it's January, like, do you want to pick
So-
a date in February, or do you want to look at your calendar later? I don't know if we can actually set a date now.
Can only bid board members host? No?
Oh, no, any business in the bid. Any business in the
We could send out like a
That's
sign
what I'm
up.
saying. Maybe what we do is like say, okay, this is the first one for 2025. We're looking for hosts. Would you like your business to be the host? I don't know why anybody would not.
Yeah, I just got that same email for the chamber for their
Yeah.
monthly mixers.
Yeah, same
Do
thing,
we
right.
want to do a set date of the month, like a recurring, or they pick the day if they're the host?
I think more people will remember if it's a set day of the month. Or like, say, the
Like the
third
first Friday or whatever.
whatever.
Does anybody have an opinion on what day, or which Friday? First, second, third?
I
fourth?
don't think any Friday matters, honestly. I think whatever.
Any Friday
works
they
for
want to
that
host.
business.
So maybe the sign
I
up
don't
just
think we
says
should do a set.
January
We just
event,
need
February event, and then they decide it. Okay.
Thank you,
Let's-
Miss Laura.
Me too. Thank you.
Me too.
Okay, let's not choose a specific
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
I was thinking that would
Yeah.
get in people's memories, but let's just go forward with any Friday for now, and then,
Do you want me to create a sign up
set your
genius?
Friday now? Do you want to do
Like
it for
where they can
January?
pop in and sign up? I'll
Um,
send it to you.
So January only reason I would look at the first week of February is because our storefront is being repaired. We're waiting actually for the permits to be approved. Hello, City of Kingsburg, help. Hopefully that'll be
No, I think
done the next few days.
February would be.
And so I just want to make sure we're done.
Great, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd be happy to do
Would
Yeah.
have to be the 7th.
February 7th. That's fine.
The first.
Or
Friday.
I could do the first Friday. The second Friday is Valentine's Day, so that might not be appreciated. Yeah.
The 7th or the 21st?
7th. I
Yeah.
wrote the 7th.
Let's
yeah.
do the 7th?
The first Friday, basically.
That gives. I mean, but we just need
Does
to
it
get it out
have to be the
ASAP,
first
right?
Friday?
And then
Yes.
start reminding.
And what time would you like to do it at?
I'm open to the time. Do you want
I
to do?
would say 4 p.m.
Is-
on a
I'm gonna say, would you
Friday.
like a 4 o'clock
That way
or
people
something?
can, if you're a business owner
Okay.
or what have
Yeah.
you could pop in before you're officially done with work.
First Friday at 4. I love alliteration. So Fika Friday,
in
first
February.
Friday of February at 4.
Okay, then I will work with you
Okay.
on getting a flyer.
Yeah.
And I will.
I
get
think
us-
Quinn, can you make something up for that for social media?
Yeah, if you want to post it, I can, yeah.
I think it would be nice to put like a very open invitation to all business.
Oh, absolutely. I was just thinking of the flyer to have something in hand to
Yes,
go face to face.
Yeah, to go invite.
To invite people
Yeah.
face to face, including, and also social media. I'm trying,
You use Canva.
yes, yes. I like Canva, yeah.
Get a flyer, send it to me and I could print it, so you're
Yes.
not using no printer.
Yes, yeah, that was very helpful. I did that last time. And then anyway, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
And then,
That's-
Michelle, you're gonna give everybody assignments on where to go drop off the
Yes.
flyers?
Yeah, when I get a flyer, I'll go to your business and I'll say, here's 20 flyers, so to go pass them out. And then, so we'll all have, instead of me having the stack, I will pass out the stack.
Are we gonna have specific places to go, so we're not going to the same places?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
If there's enough time, like, I can mail, not the same space to face also, but if you just want to make sure every business gets it, I can mail it to them also.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's a good idea too. I think the more avenues we cover, the better, yeah.
Is there no expense for that? Oh, yeah, okay, that's nice.
Put all the business people.
Well, that's if they have a business license.
Right, they get the, okay, that's great.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving on. Item number 7, Oat and Oak.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for hanging out for so long, Quinn.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. I'll be quick on this one since I know we're running a little late here. Yeah, the first photo here. Next time I'll wait for the trees to be fully decorated before I take it. That'll be next year's goal. So just real quick, since this is the first time I'm presenting to the new members, I'm just going to give you a little overview about who I am, what I do, and how to look at these reports. My name's Quinn, obviously you know that. I did sort of social media, photo, video work in the military prior to this, and then upon leaving the military, transition, that skill set to the civilian sector. Started this business, Oat and Oak, where, I do photo, video, graphic design work, social media management for local business. I don't do personal photography or anything like that. I connected with the bid, I guess, coming on 2 years now, so we've had that relationship. Obviously, all the social media management. We also do some other things. We've done trainings in the past, so that's another thing. If you guys want to do, another training, just the board outside of this, that's included in what I do for you guys. And then along with that, these quarterly reports. The way businesses can sort of take advantage of Kingsburg social media is obviously sharing. So like you do with Rainy Wine Bar, you'll share me stuff, I'll post it. We can also do collaborative posts where I'll come to you and we'll make a video together, which we've also done in the past for your business, and Penny as well. So there's a couple things there. The first 3 pages of this report stay the same each quarter. You have the general intro. We talk a little bit about our strategy. And so our strategy for our social media is we highlight culture and history, local business, obviously, and then events. And so you're going to see those 3 revolving themes throughout the month. We do 12 posts a month, and then unlimited shares. So as long as businesses send me stuff directly, they DM me, then I'll repost them for them. A lot of times businesses will send me stuff every day, and it's like the same thing. And so I will also take the liberty of like, okay, we've already shown this. So I try to curate it a little bit. This 3rd page here, analytics. So these are just some basic social media analytics and terms defined. The ones we like to look at more so than anything are obviously follower growth, but more so than follower growth, we like reach and engagement. Reach is how many times your post was distributed to a phone and they've looked at it. And so just because you have 4,000 followers doesn't mean only 4,000 people are seeing that post. And then engagement, that's a big one. So likes, comments, shares. Shares specifically, we really like shares. And there's some things, going back to analytics that you can't track. A lot of people don't even like, for me, when I'm scrolling, I can still look at something and like it and watch it, but I'm not actually double tapping it. So those are things that we don't know. So that's the terms defined there and the analytics defined. Demographic, predominantly our page are female. ages 25 to mid-50s, and they have families. So our posts, we try to be sort of PG rated. We're not doing anything crazy, with the exception of we will do posts about alcohol. Beer is always favorited. Hard alcohol, not as much. So that's just a fun fact there. Those are current follower counts on both Instagram and Facebook.
And I just looked up on, not to interrupt, but I just looked up on our Instagram page and it is linked.
Amazing, thank you.
I saw that.
Yep. Oh, yeah, all good. And Abigail sends these reports out to all the businesses, like she mentioned earlier. So when I come up, the expectation is, most of you guys have maybe reviewed it and looked at it. If you have questions, you can ask me. But generally, I'll sort of breeze through it. We're not spending a lot of time on it. Okay, so follower counts. Here we are. So growth this year, 219 more follows on Facebook. Facebook's our smaller page. You'll see these peaks here. These are correlated with really successful, semi-viral posts that we've made. And that's where we'll have the most reach and engagement, and usually followers go up during those times too. On Instagram, we've grown 1.2 thousand followers, closer to 1.3. And that's Instagram's our bread and butter. And last year and this year, we've grown between 20 and I think this year's 28% annually in our follower gain, because we're sitting at 4.3 right now. So all things considered, for social media growth, that's a good statistic to have. Another thing I mentioned before to some of the bid members, but you got to be careful with followers too, because it's real easy to buy followers on social media. A lot of people do that. It's something we can do. It's legal to do, but it's not something I would recommend. The point of social media is to have a community that is engaging with you and working with you, and bot followers totally defeat that idea. It doesn't make any sense. So although it looks good on it's that good impact. Oh, that business, they have 10,000 followers. That's great. It's not doing anything for the business. A good way to sort of determine if a business has bought fake followers is you can look at the ratio of followers to the engagement. If they have 10,000 followers and they're only getting 10 likes per post, something doesn't look
And
like
it's
that.
usually the same people in there and that like it.
Yeah.
If you really want to dive in.
Generic comments, the same comments on posts, because you can buy engagement too, actually. So anyway, things to look out for. Once again, not illegal, but something we don't practice and I don't practice. So reach this year, we're looking at about 81,000. So 81,000 people, saw the content that we created. And of those 81,000, about 20,000 went back to our Instagram page and checked things out. So those are all good numbers. Once again, these peaks correlate with successful posts. Down here are some highlights of some of the more successful posts that we have. On this first bar here, we can look at the reach category, and you'll notice it's hard to see from where you are, but if you look at the report, you can see the thumbnails. The revolving themes are drink, food, and events. And so that's what's gaining us the most followers, getting us the most exposure. And then on the second bar here, you can look at the shares, going from our top to bottom on shares, almost 4,000 shares on this one video here. This is when we had an influencer from Southern California come up. We partnered with them. He made a reel about Kingsburg, and we actually got a lot of exposure from that reel. He's offered to come up, and I can present this later. He's offered to come up again for Swedish Festival. So I'll get that information and present it to you guys at one of these other boards. But if it's something we're interested in, we could do that.
Quinn, are we getting a lot of views on stories, or how is stories?
Stories we get a lot of views, but not as much as like the posts per se.
Definitely.
A lot of the story views that are successful are local, personal things. So like if a business owner is featured in a story and someone who follows us knows them, they'll like it. Oh, I know
Yes.
Leslie, or
Yeah.
I know Amanda or whoever. So you get engagement on that local level with the stories. Yeah. Okay, benchmarking. So benchmarking, this is comparing us to other accounts of similar size. That's what this top one is here. So that would be like comparing us to, Reedley's Chamber of Commerce page or Selma's new Instagram page. So up top, that's our numbers, and then at the bottom, it'll show you the typical maybe for those similar pages of that size. So we're doing well compared to others in that regard. My personal goals for our page is to get to, first, I think our main competitor, it's not really a competitor, but someone who's doing similar stuff to us are the Downtown Vicelians. You can see they have almost 12,500 followers. They've been around a lot longer, obviously, but I think that's a reasonable goal for us if we continue doing what we're doing.
That's reasonable but Downtown Vicelians have been around for 35 to 40 years plus.
Well, also to mention, they have probably 4 times more
Yeah.
businesses downtown.
So we're not doing.
yeah.
We're,
If we
we're
have
not
half
doing
the
too bad.
followers and a quarter of the amount of people,
Right.
that's probably
We're doing
a
pretty
fair
good.
comparison. Yes.
Yeah. And I encourage you guys to check out, I'm sure you all, I know Leslie follows all these pages. You can see here who follows them. But I encourage you guys to do that as well, and also just for ideas, things you like, things you don't like that these other chambers and business improvement districts are doing. Clovis, Old Town Clovis, they have a bigger following, obviously. They do a lot of event stuff. You won't see as many individual business highlights. And then Solvang's really my favorite, but they're also really doing just events and scenic imagery. They're not highlighting individual businesses.
Aren't they more of like the city of Solvang account versus like a bid?
I don't know who actually runs the page, but I know that their content is just focused on like their downtown area, like the Danish theme.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And so they get great engagement with their stuff. But these are just examples of ways we can take this page. Do we want this a page to be really just individual highlights of businesses, or do you want just scenic imagery? What we're doing is working so far, but I'm always open to feedback and rudder shift on where our direction's going. So once again, I just encourage you to check out these pages on your own. I showed this in our last report, but just for our new members, we try to be trendy with the videos, so seeing what's popular, what's going viral on social media, and then sort of utilizing that. So using keywords like new food spots in the areas, those do real well. I try to, with new businesses opening up, I try to highlight them a little bit more just to give them that bump. Viking Bar and Grill, I've done a couple posts for them now, just because they're in our district, but they're not on Draper, so trying to push some people out to them. This was one of the first things we did for them, and it did really well, and their followership went up because of it. So that's cool, seeing that direct impact from essentially the bid at work, getting people to those restaurants. A lot of shares, a lot of views. These are just fun comments to read, positive comments from some of our from our posts, and our comments are 90% positive. It's really nice. Everyone knows Kingsburg has a great reputation. You'll have the ones and twosies that like to make jokes and stuff, but other than that, it's good. And I always go back and do my best to respond to all the comments to sort of increase the engagement and keep that up and show that we are watching too. So that it's not just a one-sided thing. It's not we're posting and forgetting. It's, hey, we're here actively working with you. People ask questions a lot too, and Amanda's really good. She'll help me because I don't know all the questions to some of the specific things.
I was tagged in that one, and I didn't realize they asked you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It was just a date. When is something? So
Yeah. And so I appreciate you guys too. So actively monitoring the comments.
But it is good to engage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good to engage. And we also get a lot of direct messaging from individuals asking about events and is this business open or closed? When's the wine bar opening back up? So I'll obviously field all those and respond to all those.
When is the display coming down?
When's the display coming down? Yeah, we want to get there before it goes down. It's good, and that's what we want to see. It's supposed to be a community, an online community, and that's what we're trying to foster.
These pictures right here, is this something we could use on the website that you were talking about?
Absolutely.
Is there a picture here?
Yeah, a lot of these we can use. A lot of these, though, the trouble between going from social to web is I shoot a lot of our social stuff in portrait, and web prefers landscape. So I was actually looking, because Amanda asked me for our cover photo, to look for a good landscape shot. And although we have a bunch of portraits, I need to go out and I'll see if I can get a better landscape shot for that
Like the
cover
coffee
photo.
pot or flowers
Yeah, that's what I
One
used
thing
in
we
one
do
spot.
differently than other pages is all of our cover photos for our posts are high-quality professional photos. They're not just thumbnails that are taken off the phone. And so that adds that crisp sort of look to our feeds, which I think just provides like a nice aesthetic and brand representation for Kingsburg.
They always look really nice.
Other partnerships we've done in the past, we had Miss Fresno County come down, and she toured some of our local restaurants. So reels like that, we try to collaborate with local people too. So, this is another thing we did in 2024. We did a legacy video, basically talking about, who, what, when, where, why Kingsburg is. And so here, June Hess did a little interview with me. That video is on our the web page that's now linked, so you guys can check that out. It's a couple minutes long, just talking about the heritage of Kingsburg and what makes us special. And I think those are the main things. Let me see other notes. And then, this is just a reflection summary in the end, just a cute little statement. Other things to note. TikTok ban January 9th as of now. So if you guys have TikTok accounts, keep that in mind. That will probably change. I think the ban always comes up and then it always gets reverted.
It'll change at
But
midnight the night before.
Yeah. Updating the website. Still working on all the photos. Amanda sent me a list of all the photos we need for the individual business websites. I sent a few, but I need to go back and tackle some more of those. So I'll get on that and
I know it's
chip away at it. Yeah, there's a few on there.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
Yeah, no problem. Another thing we did this year was we partnered with a coffee company out of Sweden, and we've created a Kingsburg Downtown branded coffee that local businesses can sell in their stores. June Hess just bought 30 more bags. She said they're selling out. So that's cool. I can provide. Sorry?
I'm sold out too.
Leslie sold out, so that's cool. I've been sort of fielding the orders at this point, but I think moving forward, I'll probably just pass out that contact information to the individual businesses so that they can do that. But yeah, so that's a product that can be sold, in individual stores. And I think that's pretty much it. That's my 5-minute summary of this report. Try to rush things, but yeah. Any questions?
So as a board, what can we do to support the social media in 2025?
Yeah. Continue posting. That's really good. Getting your faces on social media. Continue sending me stuff. I mean, honestly, all of you guys are doing everything right. You're sending me your information. I would like to set up maybe a meeting with you guys, and we can do a little bit of training on how to get better quality imagery with your phones, and I can show you how to do the settings on that and change things. Yeah.
It would have to be open to everyone, though, right? Can't be just the board. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little workshop or something like that. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing, stay engaged. There's other things we can dive into to grow this page even more. Right now, we're not doing any paid advertising, which is something we could experiment with, setting a budget of, $50, $100 a month and doing paid advertising that way to disseminate the information a little bit more. So there's a couple ideas that I can come forward with you guys, but as of now, 2024, that's what it's looking like, and I think if we keep the course, we'll do well.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
great.
Well, maybe also, Corinne, you could, of course, confirm this, but if all of us comment, and share on that page. I know I look at it all the time, and I usually like it, but it's sounding like with your reports, the more likes, the more shares, and the more comments we
Definitely.
get, and then we could encourage our clients to do that. That would,
Small things, like specifically every post, we do on average 3 posts a week. So every time you see a post on Kingsburg Downtown, just resharing that to your story.
Okay.
That's helpful.
okay,
Bookmarking it, too. Hitting the little save button, that helps.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, sending it to your friends. So, yeah, cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, dear. Well, that is the end of our very long regular calendar. Any future agenda items that you folks want to tell Miss Abigail about right now?
There were a couple on there already, right?
Yep. Any board member reports that we did not cover today? All right.
Speaking of the future, I just want to make sure I'm looking through. What do we have?
You can put website update and I'll provide analytics, and I'm also gonna email it out too. I just need you.
Okay. So then our next board meeting will be Julianne's email, please. Playing telephone. Okay. Okay. So some of these kids don't know what that is. So we're going to adjourn, and our next board meeting will be February 5th. No, wait. 4th. February 4th, 8 a.m. Invite your friends.
Actually did start a spreadsheet like 3 years ago of how many people attended the meetings, but it was like all of us. So I never really.
It's not changed.